Reports are swirling that Jake Paul's condition took a serious hit after a brutal punch from Mike Tyson. Sources say the two fighters met to discuss rescheduling their bout, but tensions exploded when Jake Paul taunted Tyson, saying he'd bury him next to his deceased daughter. This vile comment drove Tyson to lose control, knocking Paul out cold, with Paul now set to face Mike Perry. The whole event teeters on the edge of cancellation. MVP announced that international superstar Jake El Gallo Paul 91-6 will return to the ring for Fear No Man, a cruiserweight fight against the tough bare-knuckle champion. And Mestar Platinum Mike Perry 5 and 03 Kozbek. The fight will take place on Saturday, July 20th at a marina in Tampa, Florida, and will be broadcast live on Days and pay-per-view. Paul vs. Perry will be an 8-round cruiserweight bout, with Paul facing his most dangerous opponent yet in a very risky fight before his big match against Mike Tyson. Jake crossed the ultimate line when he said Cato's legacy is overrated. He couldn't even protect his own. And look where you are now, Mike. Wasn't he supposed to make you invincible? The room went silent, and Tyson's face, twisted with rage, those words didn't just sting, they ripped open old wounds. The atmosphere was now supercharged. Jake continued to poke the bear, mocking Tyson's deceased child. This attack was beyond the pale, and everyone could feel the shift. The air was electric, and everyone knew something big was about to go down. Jake said, "Even your own blood couldn't survive your shadow, Mike. What kind of father does that make you?" Then it happened. Tyson's reaction was immediate and explosive. The anger and pain in his eyes were crystal clear. The room, packed with media and spectators, held its breath. When I say Jake can't see with one eye or speak with his twisted jaw, you're probably wondering just how hard Tyson punched him. It was a moment that spoke for itself. But let me paint the picture for you. Tyson roared and lunged across the stage, his fist a blur smashing into Jake's face. With all the anger and pain, he could muster the sound of Tyson's knuckles meeting. Jake's face echoed around the room, followed by a collective gasp from the audience. Security rushed in immediately, but they were too late to stop the initial beatdown. It took several guards to pull Tyson away. As he strained to get at Jake, the scene was pure chaos, shouting, camera flashes, and everyone scrambling to restore some order. After the dust settled, there was Jake Paul on the ground, looking like he'd been run over by a truck. His once cocky smile was gone, replaced by shock and pain. Blood trickled from a cut above his eye, and his face started swelling up like a balloon. People in the room said it felt like a flashback to Tyson's brutal knockouts from back in the day. Even Max Kellerman, the famous boxing commentator, was stunned. Jake, once a promising fighter, now lay battered and broken, a victim of his own actions. "I've never seen anything escalate this quickly at a press event," Kellerman remarked. The boxing community was buzzing after this incident. Evander Holyfield, Tyson's old rival and current friend, chimed in, "Mike's temper is legendary, but this was a side of him I hoped was in the past. Jake Paul pushed him too far, and now we see the consequences." Jake's injuries were no joke. He had multiple facial fractures, a broken nose, and a shattered cheekbone. Doctor said he'd need surgery to fix the damage. His team put out a statement saying Jake is recovering, but the extent of his injury means he will need time to heal. The boxing world was in chaos. What was supposed to be an exciting showdown turned into a real-life brawl with serious consequences. Jake Paul wanted to provoke Tyson, and he succeeded, but not in the way he hoped. The aftermath left the boxing world in shock. Jake Paul, once a promising fighter, now lay battered and broken, a victim of his own reckless mouth. The press conference intended to hype up the fight turned into a battlefield. And what did this Disney troublemaker do next? He grabbed his camera to show the world how much of a victim he was. Jake took to social media to whine about his frustrations and show off his vulnerability. "They made me pay a lot of money for no reason, and it just pisses me off," he ranted during a live stream, his voice shaking with a mix of anger and sadness. Quite the change from the cocky attitude he had at the press conference. Then, to make things even juicier, Jake started Claiming he had fake injuries, he posted videos of himself with a cast in bandages, saying he was seriously hurt from the attack. But those claims quickly fell apart in one video. He said, "I dislodged my shoulder lifting up a gym boulder. In one of my spars, it hurts, man. And the doctor said I can't fight in this state, yeah." Because lifting boulders in a sparring session sounds totally believable, people had mixed reactions. Some fans felt sorry for Jake, thinking he was just a victim of Tyson's uncontrollable rage. Jake was out of line. But no one deserves to be beaten like that, tweeted one fan, capturing the feelings of those who thought Jake got more than he deserved. But many in the boxing community and fans were on Tyson's side, believing Jake's big mouth earned him every punch he got. Jake Paul promptly retracted his statement, realizing the absurdity of challenging a legend like Tyson, said sports analyst Stepan A. Smith. Most people felt Jake had crossed the line and got what he deserved. His public rants and videos only made things worse. His emotional outbursts and sketchy injury claims divided people even more. Videos of Jake visibly upset and frustrated spread quickly. In one, he said, "I don't know how this got so out of hand. I just wanted to hype the fight, not end up in the hospital." This showed the pressure Jake was under. Despite his cocky persona, facing a legend like Mike Tyson was clearly getting to him. His breakdown revealed a side of him no one had seen before, complicating things for the YouTube star turned boxer. As days went by, fans argued on social media and sports news. Some defended Jake, saying he was just hyping the fight, while others thought his tactics were reckless and disrespectful. This incident highlighted the fine line between hype and hostility, and the real-life consequences of crossing that line in professional boxing. But did you think Tyson was going to stay quiet while Jake made those ridiculous accusations? No way. Tyson didn't waste a second calling Jake out on his fake injury claims. "You see that stunt he pulled with the cast and bandages?" Tyson said it's all fake. To make things more interesting, people started spotting Jake out and about, acting perfectly fine. Just days after the incident, he was seen at a bowling alley in Los Angeles using the same hand he claimed was injured. He was bowling with the same hand he said was hurt, Tyson pointed out, highlighting the obvious inconsistency. The media jumped on these discrepancies, with headlines questioning the truth behind Jake's injuries. Tyson's mission to expose Jake's supposed cowardice became the hot topic. "This kid crossed every limit. I was forced to do something," Tyson said, defending his actions. Jake was also seen at a friend's party, engaging in activities that seemed impossible if he were truly injured. These sightings made Tyson's claims more believable and started to turn public opinion against Jake. The media couldn't get enough of this drama. Sports analysts and commentators picked apart every detail, creating a storm of speculation and debate. Most big names in the boxing world sided with Tyson. Former heavyweight champ Lennox Lewis said, "If Jack is really hurt, why is he out there? It just doesn't add up." But then Jake did something unbelievable. He filed a $300 million lawsuit against Mike Tyson, adding a legal twist to their rivalry. Filed on May 25, 2024, in the New York Supreme Court, the lawsuit accuses Tyson of aggression and making life-threatening remarks. "Tyson went way overboard. He threatened my life," Paul said in his legal filing, referring to Tyson's reaction during the press conference. "The legal battle has been intense and all over the news." Jake's legal team claims Tyson's actions were not just physically harmful, but also criminal threats. They argue that the press conference left Jake with severe emotional distress and physical injuries verified by medical professionals. Tyson's defense, on the other hand, calls Jake's claims exaggerated and ridiculous. "This whole thing is a joke. They think a lawsuit and a couple of scratches are going to scare me off," Tyson scoffed in an interview with ESPN. On May 28, 2024, his lawyers argue that Jake's injuries aren't as severe as he claims, and that his emotional distress is just an act to gain sympathy. Public reaction to the lawsuit is mixed. Supporters of Jake argue that he has the right to seek justice for for what they see as an unprovoked and violent attack. No one should be above the law. Not even Mike Tyson, tweeted one fan. On the flip side, many in the boxing community and Tyson's fans see the lawsuit as a ploy by Jake to avoid the fight and make some easy money. Jake is just trying to cash in. He knew what he was getting into, said former heavyweight champion George Foreman. In an interview with Sports Illustrated on May 30th, 2024, this view is shared by many who think Jake's actions are manipulative and fake. As the legal proceedings continue, the boxing world is left in suspense. The outcome of the lawsuit will decide the future of the fight and could have lasting impacts on the reputations and careers of both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Fans and pundits are watching closely, eager to see how this dramatic chapter in boxing history will play out.